This, come on, right now this is biggest fight in boxing. Come on, third fight for us, Canelo, everybody knows Canelo, just it's the biggest gift for people who really like boxing. Everybody's different situation, different way, different everything, like, come on. Last fight in Canelo, he looked different, not like a 168, 75, no, because different situation.
Man, let's set the stage. When Gennady Golovkin talks boxing, the room goes quiet. Dude's punches echo like church bells. So when he gives a take, you lean in like it's gospel.
Does he look like he's improving and getting better?
Marcos, I told you just, every opponent gives you different, every fight is different.
So you think
I don't feel like, more power, more speed. No, he stayed the same, just.
And if you ask Triple G about Canelo versus Crawford, he's got that icy grin, then drops it cold. Canelo is strong, very strong. I know. I feel his punches. He break arms, he break will. Crawford, he very smart, very sharp, but small. He no fight guy like Canelo before.
There's no way Crawford can do what Golovkin did. Golovkin's a different animal. Golovkin's a 160-pounder, very strong, very dominant, big puncher. And Crawford doesn't have that. Crawford has great skills, but doesn't have that punch to keep Canelo off of him. Golovkin had that punch and that strength to keep Canelo off of him, to keep him from just doing whatever he wanted.
Triple G keeps it respectful, though he calls Crawford dangerous and says Bud can make fighters look lost with his brain. But then he hits us with the hammer. You cannot outthink a truck when truck is moving 100 miles per hour. Translation: in Triple G's world, size and power matter. And Canelo is still driving that 18-wheeler at 168.
Oh, no. Crawford wins, obviously. I said up to this point, Canelo is the number one for me. But if Crawford wins, oh yeah, of course, Crawford has to be number one. Fundamentally, boxing-wise. Now, can he draw like Canelo? I don't think so.
But here's the best part. Triple G being slick leaves just a little window open. If Crawford survived first 6 rounds, maybe he surprise. Maybe Canelo gas. Maybe Crawford download. That's vintage Golovkin. Straight, blunt, no fluff. In short, Triple G predicts Canelo by punishment, but he respects Bud enough to admit there's a slim chance of a shock.
Well, Madrimov just, I think, showed us that Crawford doesn't have that one-punch knockout, first of all. He's going to have to put punches together, and he can put punches together 147, 140, and they're going to be quick punches. With Canelo, they're going to be a little bit slower, so Canelo's going to be able to see him.
And here's why Triple G's words hit different. He ain't just some armchair expert. He lived through the Canelo storm twice. Think about it. First fight, Triple G walked Canelo down like a man chasing rent money, jabbing his head off. And most of the world thought Triple G got robbed. Second fight, different script. Canelo flipped it, stood his ground, traded fire in the middle of the ring.
Alvarez fought on the back foot, relying on counterattacks, but Triple G kept pressing forward, landing jabs that pierced through even Canelo's tight defense. Despite the thunderous punches exchanged, Golovkin never backed down.
And that's when Golovkin realized this wasn't just some flashy Mexican star. This dude was a stone wall with head movement. Triple G even admitted later, he not run, he fight me Mexican style. Respect. That's the thing. Canelo earned his stripes in blood against Triple G. Every punch felt like it had history attached. And you can see why Golovkin now warns Crawford with that smirk.
Terence putting the weight on that he's put on may not be the fastest, may not be the strongest at that weight. He had difficulties with the 154-pound champion that he beat. So at 168, he's fighting a guy that's been tested against the big names in that division.
Triple G knows better than anybody. Canelo ain't just about power. He's about adjustments, patience, and that quiet confidence like he's got all night to break you down. Crawford might have the brains, but Triple G's story is the reminder you gotta survive the storm before you can even think about solving the puzzle. Triple G threw his shot, but then we swing over to Kell Brook. And trust me, when a man who shared the ring with both Golovkin and Crawford speaks, you better listen.
Both unbelievable fighters, but I'd have to favour Canelo. Just his size and his experience and just his ring generalship, he's got confidence, he's big, he's strong.
Kell starts off real laid back, talking about being a new dad and chilling. But once Crawford versus Canelo gets mentioned, the switch flips. He admits straight up. At first glance, you gotta lean toward Canelo. Why? Because when you jump up in weight, it's not just, oh, I ate an extra sandwich today. Nah, he knows from experience. When he fought Golovkin, the difference wasn't just size, it was a whole new reality check.
Fighting a middleweight, a mediocre world champion's okay. But when you're fighting someone like, Canelo or Golovkin, it's a different kettle of fish, I have to lean towards Canelo, but, Crawford's very, very, very good.
Fighting average champs at middleweight is one thing, but going against monsters like Canelo or Triple G, that's a different kettle of fish, and Kell's still tasting it. But here's the twist. Kell ain't writing Crawford off either. He calls Bud very, very, very good and sharp as hell. The real question Kell drops on us is whether Crawford still has the legs. See, Mayweather beat Canelo with movement, but Kell says Bud ain't really that kind of mover.
Crawford's not really like Mayweather in that aspect. He's more, he kind of sets his feet and he's cute with how he approaches, chucking shots and moving. You know what I mean? I think it's a different fight to Mayweather, and Canelo's obviously a different fighter from when he boxed Mayweather.
Crawford sets his feet more, picks his spots, and counters with IQ instead of running laps. So Kell basically hints, Canelo's seen movers before, but Crawford's style is a little different, and that might give him windows. And here's where it gets spicy. Kell Brook don't just talk from the sidelines, he's got the scars to prove it. Remember when he fought Crawford? Brook came in looking sharp, snapping that jab, even catching Bud clean a few times early. For a minute people thought, yo, Kell might actually be onto something here.
You can see Kell Brook throwing the jab where Terence Crawford has his lead arm slightly above it and then deflects it downwards and throws his own jab at the same time, which Kell Brook walks into.
But then Bud did what Bud always does. He downloaded Brook's rhythm mid-fight like it was dial-up internet, switched southpaw, and within a couple rounds, Brook's legs gave way to a Crawford right hand that folded him. It was surgical, quick, and almost eerie how Crawford flipped the switch. That fight showed exactly what Kell means when he says Bud's not a runner like Mayweather. He's more like a hunter that stalks, sets, and detonates. And that's why his words hit harder. Brook's been in there, felt those adjustments in real time, and he knows how dangerous it is when Bud plants his feet and starts seeing the openings.
As both boxers try to establish that lead arm, Kell Brook tries to throw the jab and then walks into a punch. Crawford was able to parry, deflect, and throw the jab at the same time with the same arm, hurting Kell Brook.
Alright, so after Kell Brook gave us the real, talking about size, legs, and how Crawford ain't no Mayweather clone, we slide straight into Bob Arum's world. And let me tell you, Uncle Bob did not come to whisper. Man lit the mic up like it was karaoke night. Except, instead of singing, he's roasting Canelo for looking more like an accountant than a gladiator. And he's not wrong. Bob's basically saying, yo, this ain't the same Canelo who used to swing for legacy. This is the Canelo that fights, like he's protecting a trust fund.
If I had to pay money to watch that fight, I wouldn't do it, because Canelo has shown in his last few fights that he's just a businessman. He's not in there to entertain the public. He just takes the big check.
We've all seen it. 1 minute you're hyped for a mega fight. Next thing you're watching Canelo treat 12 rounds like overtime at the office. And Bob drops that old school gem too, reminding us how guys like Sugar Ray and Oscar would chase pay-per-view numbers, so they had to give us fireworks. That's the difference. We want blood, sweat and drama, not PowerPoint presentations with jabs. So yeah, Arum's calling it like we feel it. If Canelo's cashing checks instead of throwing bombs, Crawford might be walking into a bank, not a war.
Terence Crawford is a real old school professional fighter who wants to do his best every fight that he's in.
And that's where Bob Arum's words hit harder than a jab to the ribs. He's basically saying Crawford can't just waltz into 168 and expect to be the same slick mover. You put on that extra muscle, sure you get stronger, but those reflexes, they can lose half a beat. And against Canelo, half a beat is all it takes. You're either slipping that hook or you're staring up at the lights asking why the ceiling's moving. Crawford built his legacy of timing, rhythm, and making world-class fighters look like they're sparring blindfolded. But at 168 with extra weight strapped on, he ain't dancing in the same shoes anymore.
Terence Crawford moved from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing. Okay, Midra Madrimov was a 54-pounder. Now, to move up to 168, that's 2 more divisions.
Meanwhile, Canelo, this is his natural habitat. Dude lives at super middleweight like it's his living room. Every inch of that weight class, he's mastered. The power, the stamina, the patience, all synced perfectly to his frame. He's not experimenting, he's not adjusting, he's just Canelo being Canelo, the lion hunting in his jungle. And if Bud steps in there a fraction slower, carrying weight his body don't really love, then Arum's warning might be prophetic. Canelo won't just test him, he'll punish every ounce of that added muscle. So yeah, whether Canelo shows up as the hungry lion or the check-cashing businessman, one thing's for sure, we're gonna break it all down right here. You already know the vibes. Like the video, drop a comment and subscribe so we keep cooking this boxing talk for the crew.